Okay, good morning. Hoping we are fine as always. So here we are to continue from where we ended the other time. Remember, we had started looking at locomotion in fish. I think that's where we ended, whereby we saw that fish locomote using the fins. We noted that its locomotion by swimming is brought about by the action of the fins together with muscles that we called the myotome muscles. For the fins, we said that they are categorized into two. We have what we call the median fins. Those are the dorsal and the ventral. Just like we can see from our visual, we can see the dorsal fins up and the ventral fins down. Those are the median fins. Then it also has other fins called the paired fins. The paired fins, the PP, those are the pelvic and the pectoral. Why do we call them paired? Because they are in pairs. There are two pelvic fins and there are two pectoral fins. But we saw in its locomotion by swimming, there is even the caudal fin that keeps on beating side by side, in order to generate a propulsive force to move this fish forward. However, we ended at a point when we said that locomotion or swimming in fish experience three instabilities. One called yawing, another one called rolling, and another one called pitching. But we said that rolling and yawing are controlled by the median fins, that is the dorsal and the ventral fins, while pitching is controlled by the pectoral and the pelvic fins. Now, what do we mean when we talk of rolling, yawing, pitching? What do we mean by those? Now, we're saying that, let's begin by looking at yawing. Yawing, when we talk of yawing, as fish is swimming within the water, we may have this head being deflected. So yawing is the deflection of the head due to the action of the tail. What do we mean? Assuming this is fish, like this, in water, as it swims to move forward, this head may get deflected to one side, like that. But if it gets deflected to that side, it may instead just continue and undergo search. That is what we call yawing. If the deflection due to the action of the tail pushes the head maybe to my right or to your right, like that, then the fish would do that. But remember, as it is locomoting, that shouldn't be the case, because as it moves forward like that, it should move like that, so that it goes forward. But due to the instability called yawing, due to that deflection from the caudal fin, instead of moving like that, it may end up doing that. So that it's like that side-to-side deflection is what we are calling yawing, and that would destabilize the fish during locomotion. So that instability, the deflection of the head resulting from the action of the tail, is what we are calling yawing. Remember, fish should locomote without that yawing. Therefore, it should locomote like that. But due to that instability, it may end up doing that, and that will affect its movement. So that is what we are calling yawing. Then we have, so when we look at that image is showing us, the one for yawing, it is showing us that the head is getting deflected, like that. So if it gets deflected, pushed like that side to side, that would make the fish unstable. That is why we are calling it an instability during locomotion. But remember, we said yawing is prevented by the dorsal and the ventral fins. The dorsal fin up, the ventral fin down. Then the other instability is pitching. Pitching is the tendency of the head to plunge vertically downwards as the fish again moves forward. The head plunges. In other words, what do we mean? If instead of moving like that normally, as the fish is swimming, the head is pushed down, it plunges down like that. So in so doing, the fish would do that, and that would destabilize it. So it is supposed to locomote freely, to swim freely, but there is that force that causes it now to have the head pushed down. If this is the head, this side, to have the head pushed down, plunged downwards as it moves. That is what we are calling pitching. The head getting plunged down. Remember, yawing side, that deflection, yawing. Pitching down. That is pitching. Yawing, an instability. Pitching, another instability. However, how is pitching controlled? We said pitching is controlled by the pectoral and the paired fins. In other words, the pectoral and the pelvic fins are the ones that control pitching. Remember, yawing is controlled by the dorsal and ventral, yawing, that deflection. Pitching, pectoral and pelvic fins. Then we have another instability known as rolling. So rolling is the rotation of the fish about its longitudinal axis. What do we mean? Rolling, just like if the fish is swimming like that, it now ends up doing that. Just like you roll on the floor. Instead of moving forward, it may end up rolling. Remember, yawing, deflection, yawing, pitching, and then rolling. This is the head, the front part, the head of the fish. Then the caudal fin is behind, or the tail fin. So as it swims, it faces the three instabilities. There are those instabilities that affect its swimming, and we've talked of yawing, it would do that. Pitching, plunging the head downwards like that, pushing it down, and then rolling like that. However, rolling is controlled by the median fins. The median fins, remember we said median fins, those are the dorsal and ventral. Meaning the median or the dorsal and ventral control both yawing and rolling. While the paired, the pectoral and pelvic, those ones control pitching. Just like we are seeing in those images there, where we have those three instabilities. Once again, of yawing, pitching, and rolling. So if fish experiences any of those three, then it affects its swimming. So those are the instabilities during locomotion, but they are prevented or they are controlled by those fins, just like we have seen, just like we have observed at that point. This now brings us to the end of locomotion in fish. We now come to locomotion in mammals, the last bit of the topic. Remember, we began by looking at locomotion in insects. We saw how they locomote. We looked at locomotion in birds. We looked at locomotion in fish. We're now seeing the last bit of this locomotion, and that is locomotion in mammals.